In the quaint village of Akponi, nestled between the undulating hills of Nigeria's lush countryside, a young girl named Nneoma lived a simple life filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of her community. With a smile that could light up the darkest of rooms and a heart full of kindness, Nneoma was beloved by all. She spent her days playing with her friends, helping her mother with farm work, and listening to the elderly tales of their ancestors. One day, while exploring the forest, Nneoma stumbled upon a mysterious well hidden behind a thick veil of foliage. The well seemed ancient, its stones covered in moss and lichen, and an ethereal glow emanated from its depths. As she approached the well, she heard a soft whisper, "Make a wish, Nneoma, and your dreams shall come true." Nneoma's eyes widened with excitement as she thought of all the things she could wish for. She had seen the wealthy traders who came to the village markets, adorned in fine clothes and jewels. She had heard the stories of famous dancers and singers who performed for kings and queens. She thought of her family's struggles to make ends meet and the long hours her parents worked on the farm. Without hesitation, Nneoma wished for wealth, beauty, and fame. As she did, the well's glow intensified, and she felt a strange sensation wash over her. At first, Nneoma's wishes seemed to come true. She woke up one morning to find herself transformed into a beautiful young woman, with skin like polished ebony and hair that cascaded down her back like a waterfall. Her family's farm began to flourish, and their crops yielded abundant harvest. People from neighboring villages came to trade with them, and their wealth increased. But as time passed, Nneoma began to notice that her wishes had brought unintended consequences. Her friends became jealous of her new beauty and wealth, and they started to distance themselves from her. Her family's farm flourished, but the other farmers struggled to compete, and their livelihoods were affected. The villagers, once so full of love and respect for Nneoma's family, began to resent them for their newfound wealth. Nneoma's heart ached as she saw the impact of her wishes on the people she loved. She tried to use her wealth to help others, but it seemed like no matter what she did, things only got worse. Her family became isolated, and her parents grew worried about the future. One day, Nneoma's mother sat her down and said, "Nneoma, my child, I know you've been blessed with wealth and beauty, but at what cost? Your father's crops are withering, your friends have abandoned you, and the villagers resent us. Is this really what you wanted?" Nneoma broke down in tears, realizing too late that her wishes had brought unhappiness to those around her. She knew she had to make things right. She remembered the well's whisper and wondered if she could wish away the chaos she had created. With a heavy heart, Nneoma returned to the well and wished for the magic to stop. She wished for the well's power to be taken away, no matter the cost to her. As she made her wish, the well's glow faded, and the strange sensation dissipated. Nneoma returned to her village, expecting everything to go back to normal. But it wasn't that simple. The wealth she had accumulated was still there, and the villagers' resentment lingered. However, something had shifted inside Nneoma. She no longer felt the intoxicating allure of wealth and fame. Instead, she felt a deep sense of compassion for her community and a desire to make amends. Over time, Nneoma worked tirelessly to rebuild the relationships she had damaged. She used her wealth to help those in need, and she spent countless hours listening to the elderly and learning from them. She learned the value of humility and kindness, and she became a true leader in her community. As Nneoma's heart changed, the village began to heal. The villagers forgave her family, and her friends returned. Her family's farm continued to flourish, but this time, it was because of Nneoma's selflessness and kindness, not just her wishes. Nneoma's story spread throughout the land, a testament to the power of selflessness and the importance of considering others' well-being. She lived a life filled with love, laughter, and the warmth of her community, but this time, it was on her own terms, with a heart full of kindness and compassion. The story of Nneoma and the sacred well became a reminder that true happiness comes not from wealth or fame but from the love and respect of those around us. It teaches us that our actions have consequences and that selflessness and kindness can bring true fulfillment and joy. As the years passed, Nneoma's village flourished once again. The villagers, who had once resented her family's wealth, now looked up to them as examples of kindness and generosity. Nneoma's parents, who had once been worried about their daughter's future, now beamed with pride at her compassion and leadership. Nneoma continued to use her wealth to help those in need, but she did so with a newfound sense of purpose. She built a school and a hospital in the village, and she spent her days teaching children and caring for the sick. Her friends, who had once been jealous of her beauty and wealth, now admired her strength and character. One day, a severe drought hit the land, and the crops began to wither and die. The villagers were worried, as they depended heavily on their farms for food and income. Nneoma knew she had to do something, but she didn't know what. She went to the elderly wise woman who lived on the outskirts of the village, seeking her counsel. The wise woman listened to Nneoma's concerns and then told her a story. Many years ago, the wise woman said, our ancestors faced a similar drought. They were struggling to survive, and they didn't know what to do. So, they came together and shared what little they had. They shared their food, their water, and their shelter. And in doing so, they found that they had enough to survive. They learned that when we share what we have, we open ourselves up to the possibility of receiving more. Nneoma listened intently, and a plan began to form in her mind. She gathered the villagers and proposed that they work together to build a system to irrigate their crops. She offered to use her wealth to fund the project, but she insisted that everyone contribute their skills and labor. The villagers were skeptical at first, but Nneoma's determination and kindness won them over. Together, they worked tirelessly to build the irrigation system, and soon the crops began to flourish once again. The drought was a test of the village's unity and resilience, but it also brought them closer together. Nneoma's selflessness and leadership had inspired the villagers, and they began to see her as a true leader. As the years went by, Nneoma's village became a model of prosperity and harmony. People from other villages came to visit and learn from Nneoma's example. She continued to use her wealth and influence to help those in need, and her legacy lived on long after she was gone. The story of Nneoma and the sacred well was passed down from generation to generation, a reminder of the power of kindness, compassion, and selflessness. And whenever someone faced a difficult decision or struggled with the consequences of their actions, they would remember Nneoma's story and the lessons she learned from the sacred well. The well itself became a symbol of the village's gratitude and appreciation for Nneoma's sacrifice. It was said that on quiet nights, you could still hear the whisper of the well, reminding people of the importance of considering others' well-being and the power of selflessness. Nneoma's story came full circle, as she lived out her days surrounded by the people and the land she loved. She had learned that true wealth lies not in material possessions but in the relationships we build and the positive impact we have on those around us. And as she looked out over the lush, green landscape, she knew that she had finally found what she had been searching for all along, a sense of purpose, belonging, and true fulfillment.